Patreon crew! What's up, y'all? This video is all about socialization. What is it? And how the heck do you do it? By far, the most important thing you could do with a new puppy is properly socialize them. And everyone knows this. However, it gets totally screwed up most of the time. So this video, I'm hoping, is going to help a lot of future or current puppy owners do socialization the correct way. Here's what you need to know right off the bat. Get those notebooks ready. Socialization is made up of 3 different parts. Oh yeah, each one of the 3 parts are just as important as the next. However, the ratio at which we do those parts is going to greatly vary dog to dog. You're going to be seeing some videos of the litter of German Shepherd puppies that I recently did a video series on. If you haven't seen those, they're really good. Check them out. The reason I'm using that litter of puppies as an example is because they all went through a genetic evaluation. What does that have to do with socialization? How much you do each one of those 3 parts is completely dependent on the puppy's genetics. So if you don't know those genetics, you are going to be socializing blind. And that's never a good thing. So knowing your puppy's genetics is crucial when creating your socialization blueprint. Part number 1 of socialization is interaction. Your puppy interacting with other animals and with people. Whether it's a dog, a cat, your brother, your sister, this is interaction. And in fact, I have this as number 1 because it's the very first social experience a puppy will ever have. Think about this. When a puppy is born, they're obviously going to have litter mates. They're obviously going to have a mom. And they are going to be around their mom and around their litter mates for the next couple of months. The very first thing puppies do, as soon as they can open their eyes, use their legs, move around, they start playing. They start wrestling. They start learning about their mouth. When they have food, water, and shelter, this is their go-to. They interact with the mom. They interact with the other puppies. And guess what? Most of the time, hopefully, that litter of puppies is being supervised by a human. Usually multiple humans. So your puppy has begun step 1 interaction before you ever get the puppy. They're with their litter mates, they're with their mom, they're around other humans. So they already have a bunch of experience with the interaction part before you ever get them. This step is by far the most overused. People think socialization is interaction. There's an equal sign. It's not. It's a fraction of what socialization is. Unless you have a very timid, very nervous, very distant kind of a puppy, this is the least important part of the 3. I want to give you guys a quick example using my dog Freddie when I first got him. So he gets shipped over, get the crate, get him off the plane. You guys have probably seen the video. Open up the crate, he walks out, he jumps on me, he starts wagging his tail. Hey, there's interaction right there. Had a cameraman with me, goes up to the cameraman. Hey buddy, interaction right there. Okay, great. bring him home, introduce him to the family, interaction there. Hey, great. A couple of months later, we actually had another puppy just about his age come onto the property for some time. I let those two little suckers play. I wouldn't say a lot, but I'd say a whole bunch. And so he was wrestling around playing. Great. I took him out and about a couple times, introduced him to a few strangers. Oh, hey, that's a cute puppy. Can I pet him? Yeah, sure. Come here, pet him. They go, they pet the puppy. Okay, great. I got it. I already knew his genetics. I already knew how he would do with a new person test, referencing the video. Interaction were good. Now, I'll periodically check in on that as the months go on just to make sure he hasn't changed. But I really just need to see a couple times in different circumstances that interacting, he's not standoffish, he's not shy, he's not weird, he's not fearful, he's not avoidant. Okay, great. Done with interaction. That's where people make the biggest error. We want to make sure the interaction component of socialization is there, but we don't want to beat it into the ground with a sledgehammer. It's not an everyday thing. It's not an every walk thing. With a dog that scores well on the new person test, it's few and far between. And guess what, guys? Even though pet owners, God bless them, they're not savants with dog training, they're usually going to pick out a puppy from a litter that's friendly, that comes right up to them. It comes right up to their kids. It wants to be right next to them. Oh, great. They usually pick a puppy that does pretty well on the new person test. So with that being said, they need to do a little bit of interaction. Okay, so that's the biggest mistake. That's part one. That's interaction. It's literally coming into contact with people and with other dogs. So then what's part two? Part two is familiarization, or as I like to call it, environmentals. Familiarization is taking your dog to an environment and letting them explore. Just like interaction, this is just gonna happen by default. If the breeder is any good, by 6, 7 weeks, they're gonna take each puppy one by one and they're gonna put them in a new environment, whether it's their living room, whether it's a different section of their yard or their property, maybe the driveway, maybe hardwood floors. So the puppy can familiarize themselves with a different environment. Like I said in part one, as soon as they have food, water, and shelter, the first thing they do is interact/play. The next thing they do is explore. And guys, exploring is very satisfying for a puppy or dog. It's connecting with their instincts, with their genetics. Dogs, puppies love to explore. Let's go back to the genetic test. Reaction to a new environment. Some puppies score very low. Some puppies blow it out of the water. I like puppies that blow it out of the water. Therefore, wow, Freddie got a 10 on the new environment test. So therefore, I'm going to take him to the hardware store. I'll take him to a park. I'll take him inside of a camper. Different environments. And he's just going to be on a longer leash with a harness. I am zipping it. I am not feeding him. I'm not looking him in the eye. It's just him and the environment. And when he scores very high on the new environment test, I know I'm not going to need to do it a lot. If you have a puppy like the Black German Shepherd that is dropped in the middle of the living room and scores really low, hides under the table, oh my gosh, where am I? I don't think this is safe. That's a puppy that's going to need to be familiarized a lot. Not flooded, but several times a week, taken here, taken there, taken here, taken there, etc., etc. We have to be extremely careful those environments that we take that puppy. This is a huge part of the socialization process. Owner picks up their 8-week-old puppy from the breeder. They bring the puppy home. What's the first thing everyone does? And I do this too. Very first thing. We put him in the house and we observe. What's he going to do in the house? Let's watch him explore. Look, so by default, the dog's already getting a bunch of interaction and a bunch of familiarization right when you get the dog. So unless they score super low, I really don't need to do this a lot. I go check, check, check. Okay, familiarization, good. Environmentals, good. I'll check back in on those periodically as he continues to develop, but we're good to go there. Now the last part is the most important, and not only is it done very little, most people don't do it at all. Now my educated Patreon crew here probably does, but the general public totally doesn't even know this exists. They totally skip it, and it totally screws them. Part number 3 is neutralization. Having a social dog is also having a neutral dog. They're really friendly. That doesn't mean social. You can have a friendly dog who's unbelievably reactive on leash. I wouldn't look at a reactive dog walking down the street and go, super social. I'd go, wow, they need a lot of neutralization because they've never had any. What is neutralization? Everyone knows what a neutral dog is, but how do we create that? How do we start neutralization? Engagement. Why are most dogs fine with interaction? Why are most dogs fine going to a new environment? Why are none of those dogs neutral? I'll tell you why. They spend weeks and weeks interacting with multiple dogs, with multiple people before you even get the puppy. They spend weeks, hopefully if the breeder's good, experiencing different environments, even if it's just around that breeder's property. What they can't do at that early stage before you get them is start neutralization. They don't do any of that. It starts with you. Let's go back to the genetic testing. Food drive. That can be tested, and it is tested. What's the puppy's genetic food drive like? Scale of 1 to 10. I like 10. If the puppy is nice and high on that genetic food drive scale, my neutralization is going to be a little bit easier for me because it's going to be easier to get the dog's engagement. Because when I have food, oh, they really want it. Give me that. Dog that's much lower, neutralization's going to be tougher because they don't want what I have that much. And especially if their environmentals are low, their new interaction with a new person is low, those are all factors that are going to contribute to the dog's ability to engage and become neutral. So you're teaching the puppy, hey, when you see a person, when you see another puppy, you can interact with them sometimes. Hey, when we go to a new place, sometimes you can be at the end of the leash, you can be sniffing around, you can be totally disconnected from your handler. Familiarization. But we gotta bring in the neutralization, the engagement part, or else we just totally lose our dogs. Example, I get my 8-week-old puppy, couple days have gone by, we're nice and settled in the house, their new routine, their new environment. I'm gonna put them in the car and I'm just gonna take them 5 minutes down the street to a parking lot. Low key, nothing crazy with the traffic, to a parking lot. So we're gonna get out of the crate. Now look, we've done interaction a bunch the last few days. We've done familiarization a bunch the last few days. We gotta start hitting this neutralization. We get to the parking lot, we get out of the crate, they haven't eaten yet that day. I clip them onto a leash. Oh man, is there people here that I get? Oh, do I get to sniff around? Boop, here's the chicken, Fluffy. Look at me. Boom, 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 boom. 10 minutes. Very good. We're done. You never got to explore. You never got to familiarize yourself with the environment, and you never got to interact with anyone or anything. That's beginning the process of neutralization. They're in an environment that is interesting to them, that they'd like to explore, they'd like to interact, but now, part 3, you gotta be neutral. Take it a step further. You have good engagement, you have a little open hand lure going. Take an older dog who is the picture of obedience and neutrality, throw him in a downstay. Work that lure with the puppy right around that dog. I guarantee you their first instinct is going to be to launch themselves at that dog because interaction, interaction, yay, 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 yay. Also why we have a leash. Leash is your friend. Don't do this off leash. Puppy trained off leash? I don't think so. Neutral, neutral, neutral. How to be neutral around another dog? Most people don't start that until the dog is, post-teething and they realize they got problems. No, it's got to start day 1. Distractions start day 1. Neutralization, day 1. That other dog, it's not going to be playtime right now. So you put in that puppy's memory card, hey, I can be in close quarters with a new dog. I can be in close quarters with a new person. A dog I know, a person I know. I can be in a new environment. I can be in an environment that I know. That doesn't mean there's going to be interaction or familiarization. So they got to have those 3 options in their head. And most dogs, talking about different percentage. Okay, well, you think, 33.3% on interaction, 33.3 on familiarization, 33.3. That's super generic. You have to know your puppy, know the genetics. I think for my dog, Freddie, his interaction was 10-15%. His familiarization or environmentals were more than that. If I had to say a number off the top of my head, maybe 30-35 on the environmentals. Everything was neutralization for me. He was friendly. He was way friendlier than I would prefer. I go, I could see he's way too into people and dogs. He's way too into them. I've worked really, really hard. He's 4 years old now. I've worked so hard to create a neutral dog with him. If it wasn't for everything I did, he'd run up to everyone he ever saw. So generally, that neutralization is the most important, the biggest part. You bring that puppy home. You put them down in your living room. They're the king of the house. They're going room to room. They're biting stuff. They're grabbing stuff. They're jumping up on stuff. They're a kid in a candy store. Oh, here comes the family. Oh, here comes the kids. Puppy. Wah-la-la-la-la-la. Jumping on the kids. Biting their hands. Da-da-da-da. I want to be in your lap. Hey, let's wrestle and play. Oh, man, they love it. They now have to be able to turn around and be neutral in that environment and around those people. And the way to do that is engagement. It's using your dog's food drive so that we can teach them there's a time and a place to interact and to explore. There's also a time and a place to just focus on me and not worry about what the kids are doing or what could be on the floor in the kitchen. So for me, socialization is those 3 parts: interaction, familiarization, and neutralization. To properly socialize a puppy, you first need to know their genetic makeup. You need to test them genetically so you don't go into this process blind and you can make educated guesses on the rough percentages that are going to go into each one of those parts. Hope it helps, guys. Happy training. See you on the next video.